So, this is going to be just a message for the collective. If you feel called to listen to this message, I know this message will probably be not a message that's for everybody. This is going to be one of those messages for those who feel like they need a message and stumble upon this message at the right time. All paths lead home, and forge don't follow. All page leads home. All paths lead home, says inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. So I'm going to read the message that comes along with this card. It says, it's normal to look to the external world for answers and guidance. What's revolutionary is turning your gaze inward. You're being called to source your guidance from within, to study the terrain of your inner landscape, to develop a reliable relationship with your soul. The more time you spend connecting with your soul, the deeper the connection will become. The challenge for empaths is staying connected without cutting off from the world. The best way to develop a daily practice that helps you to keep checking in, to draw on wisdom within, and let that be the authority on your life. If this card appears, you may be called to develop or switch up your spiritual practice. Get in the habit of turning your gaze within, getting centered for the day before consuming anything from the outside world. To start from a feeling of at-homeness, and throughout each day to find simple ways to keep coming home. This doesn't mean switching off from the realities of today's world. We need as many conscious people as possible living with their eyes wide open. Rather, it's a call to start your day from a place of connectedness, grace, and devotion. So when you go out into the world, and when you let the world in, you do it from an unshakable state of being, a state where you draw your strength, authority, and guidance from a place deep within. Okay. And so the other card was Forge, Don't Follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Excuse me. If you wait until the path is perfectly paved, you won't be forging your own path, and you'll likely not even take the first step. Don't let a small detail like being unable to find someone to show you the way be the reason you don't step forward and lead. Hey, Tara Gray. Let it be the reason that you do. The most courageous and needed leaders are the ones who don't wait for permission or until the morning they wake up feeling ready. They take a deep breath, put one foot in front of the other, and figure it out as they go. They don't wait for someone to lead them, they lead themselves. This card is for leaders. You're here to pave a path that hasn't been walked before. To go first and lead the way for others who are calling you in. If you feel misrepresented in the media, step forward for all those who feel misrepresented. If no one's speaking out on the topics you feel passionate about, share your unique voice. There's no one on earth who comes close to possessing your unique combination of skills, gifts, and life experience. Don't look to those who have come before you to work out your path. Leaders must forge their own. Do it for your daughter. Do it for the younger you. Do it for the leaders who will follow. When you go first, you make it easier for others to follow your lead. forge, don't follow. So those were the 2 oracle cards that came from my Starseed deck. Like I said, this is going to be a kind of unique reading. This is a reading that might not resonate with everybody. This is a reading for the people that feel that they have a call on their life, but also feel like they are at a crossroads. Okay. Let me pull from this deck. Brilliance. You discover your own genius by breaking away from the grind to follow your own inspiration. Your ideas bring recognition. Perspective. If you change the way you look at things, you could see everything in a brand new light that will help you get to where you want to be. Progress. It seems like a long slog, but your efforts will pay off soon. Stay on course for at least a few more months before making a change. Okay, so this is about, the Brilliance card is about believing in yourself. Some of you guys have some groundbreaking ideas and you feel inspired, but you're not so sure if the inspiration that you feel will inspire other people. And with this card coming out, Spirit wants you to know that that inspiration has been given to you as a gift from God, because this is part of your purpose. And if you don't put it out here, he'll give it to someone else to give it, but they'll never be able to give it like you were going to give it. Perspective. They want you to change the way that you are looking at yourself. They want you to see how brilliant you really are. Because the progress that you make on your journey requires consistency. And consistency requires self-belief. It's hard to stay on a grind, you know, with the tenacity that is required when you don't believe in yourself. And Spirit wants you to know that they believe in you. Spirit believes in you. Your ancestors believe in you. Your spirit team believes in you, because they can see you the way you were created. They don't just see the physical you. They see the spiritual you. So they can clearly see the call that is on your life. They can see your purpose. When they hear your name, they hear your purpose. You might not be the same way. You might not be at a place yet in your spiritual journey where when you say your name, you hear your purpose. When you look in the mirror, you don't just see your face, you see your purpose. But Spirit does. Your spirit team does. Your ancestors do. The universe resonates to the energy that you put out, and your energy has a specific signature that screams your purpose. And when you do things that don't honor your purpose, the universe has to honor that energy. But at the end of the day, the universe knows who you are. You got cloudy judgment. Yeah. For whatever the reason, some of you guys are not fully seeing yourself the way you were fearfully made. Karma. So a lot of you feel like you've made mistakes in life, and I don't know how else to say this, but you're like punishing yourself mentally. You're not allowing yourself to move past those bad decisions. Everybody makes bad decisions. And guess what? Those bad decisions were also a part of your purpose. You know, sometimes we think a misstep takes us off of our path. But what if I told you that misstep leads you to a specific spot that you wouldn't have made it to unless you took that misstep, which would mean it wasn't a misstep. You were right on track all along. You just have to keep going and have faith. Divine feminine and exhaustion. Yeah, so this journey has been long for a lot of you. Depletion, drained, long journey. Yeah. This journey has been really long for you, and it's waning on your faith, and I get that. It's called, but it's still calling for you to have faith regardless. No matter how hard it gets, you have to continue to hang in there, and you cannot lose focus. With the divine feminine here, the divine, now I'm not, this is the card that came out, the divine feminine. I'm not talking about a woman. So when I'm talking about this card, I'm not speaking to just the women here in this room. If you guys have ever studied the divine feminine energy or the divine masculine energy, then you know that we all have both divine feminine and divine masculine energy within us. And so with this card coming out, regardless of if you are male or female, Spirit is telling you to harness your divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy is about nurturing, self-care, and nurturing others. And also having the wisdom to know when to pull back your energy from others and love on yourself. But most importantly, divine feminine energy is about receptivity. Think about the sun and the moon. The sun is the divine masculine. The moon is the divine feminine. The moon shines bright light. It gives light. It's a giver. The moon is a receiver of light. The moon does not possess any light of its own. It takes the light that it is given from the sun and it shines it down on the earth during the darkest times of the day. Right? That is what Spirit wants you to harness. That energy of receiving and nurturing during the darkest time. Some of you guys are going through a time where you don't quite see just how bright your light is. So Spirit is going to shine a light on you, and they want you to take that light, receive that light, and use that light to see in the darkness until you can see your own light. That time will come. The day will come when you know exactly who you are. And when you can't see exactly who you are, step into your divine feminine energy. Receive the light that the Most High is sending you and use it to see through the darkness. Releasing, letting go, moving on, walking away. So there's something that you're holding on to that is affecting your ability to see just how great you are. Some of you have, and for most of you, this thing that you're holding on to is trauma. It's baggage. It's scars and wounds. I do understand, though, that sometimes we get hurt, right? And just like with our physical bodies, when we get hurt, depending on how bad the wound is, I mean, if it's just a scrape, it'll heal and we'll forget that it ever happened. There won't even be any evidence of it. But sometimes we are cut so deeply that the scar stays with us for our entire lives. The same thing happens to your brain. When trauma happens, it leaves lesions on the brain. When they scan, when the people that study neuroscience and they study the brain, they can see lesions on the brain from where traumatic events happened that affected the brain so much where it left a scar. And the same thing happens to us spiritually. So I understand. I have experienced deep wounds, deep spiritual wounds that I will take. These are scars that I will take with me into the next life. My soul will remember some of these traumas, but it's not for nothing. Scars don't make you weak. Scars make you a warrior. Because as long as you are still here, and the thing about it is that we're more than just these bodies. So you'll always be here. Energy never dies. It only transfers. It only moves. It only transitions. So you never die. This body might die, but you will never die. And each scar, it taught you a lesson. It helped you ascend. It made you a warrior. It made you stronger. Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you can't die. But I understand how hard it can be to heal from wounds that cut really, really deep. I understand that. Some of them we will take to our grave. But all of them are not necessarily that deep. Some of those wounds would heal if we just allow ourselves the space, the room, and the opportunity to heal. And that just goes back to that divine feminine card that came out earlier, where Spirit was encouraging you to step into your divine feminine energy. Because before we started talking about receiving, we talked about nurturing and having the wisdom to know when to nurture others and when to pull back our energy and nurture ourselves. And nurturing is self-care. Self-care is taking the time to heal. Healing is not always easy, so sometimes we have to really sit with our pain to know what's hurting so that we can know what to heal and how to heal it. And it's not easy sitting with that pain, sitting with that hurt, ruminating on it so that we can eventually release it. I don't know if like when you were a little kid, if you've ever scraped your knee and this was maybe one of the first few times you've ever scraped your knee and you went home and you showed your mom and your mom went to go pull out all the stuff that she needs to clean your wound. That stuff that she pulls out hurts like hell. I will never forget the first time I felt alcohol on a wound. I will never forget the first time I felt peroxide on a wound. Ever. I could not wait until it was over. I'll never forget what it felt like to run water over an open wound. I'll never forget it. It was the most painful thing I've ever had to do, especially at such a young age, especially not fully understanding what was going on. And that's what this is like. We get hurt. And sometimes so many of us live our whole lives with open wounds. We never clean them. We never bandage them up. We never give them an opportunity to heal. This reading is not for those people. This reading is for the people who recognize that they have a wound and Spirit knows that you have the courage, the bravery to open that medicine cabinet and pull out that peroxide, to turn on that faucet and flush that wound out. That's who this reading is for those people who have the bravery and the courage to do such a thing. Because it has to get done and Spirit wants to help you do it. And it might hurt, but it'll never hurt as bad as it would have hurt if you never clean out the wound. You know what happens to wounds that don't get cleaned? They get infected. That's what happens to wounds that never heal. They get infected. You know what happens after infection? Either sepsis, where the toxin spreads through the bloodstream and then it eats the person alive, or something has to get amputated. That's what happens. Spirit knows that that's not you. Spirit knows that that's not you. You are the person who has the bravery to clean out the wound regardless how bad it hurts, regardless of the fact that you don't really know how to do what you're about to do, or if it's going to work, or if it's going to be enough. And Spirit wants to walk you through that process. Soulmates. Some of you all are waiting for a great love. And Spirit wants you to know they hear you. They feel your yearning heart. Your ancestors want you to know that they feel you. They know your desires. They're working behind the scenes to bring this person to you. Not too soon and not too late. But they hear you. Hoping. So for a lot of you guys, you think about this on a regular basis. You think about this on a regular basis about how you want love or how you want to build a foundation with someone. And Spirit wants you to know that they are standing with you in solidarity. I'm going to pull a couple more of these before I move on to the tarot. Turmoil, shocking. Okay, so you got shocking, and shocking is about turmoil, trouble, and unexpected. Okay, so some of you guys are rebuilding your life after a very tumultuous relationship. I don't know if this was a tumultuous relationship with family. I don't know if this was a tumultuous relationship with an ex-husband. For a lot of you, I'm getting this was a long-term relationship that you invested a lot of years into. And when it was time to walk away from that relationship, you lost everything and you had to start all the way over. And because you had to start all the way over, it really took a toll on your faith. Spirit, clarify exhaustion. The Two of Cups. More on exhaustion. Why is that here, Spirit? Yeah. So for a lot of you, this is a relationship that went bad. And you were waiting for communication from this person. You were waiting for an apology from this person. You waited so long that you really just couldn't wait anymore. And in honest to God, you are still in disbelief that this person is not going to give you your apology. You are really starting to question, like at some point, you were certain that they knew that they did you wrong. And then towards the end, you started feeling like maybe this person is really confused. Maybe they really don't see that they did me wrong. Maybe, maybe maybe they are not giving me my apology because they are serious when they say I didn't do anything to you. And so because you started to see things from another perspective, you decided you just had to move on, which was a smart thing to do. Brilliance. And then you got the Queen of Pentacles. I pulled this to clarify brilliance. Some of you all are going to be making a lot of money. When you finally realize just how brilliant you are, when you finally accept the gifts that the Most High has given you, because ultimately those gifts were given to you so that you could give them to the world, right? And once you realize and once you accept and you truly believe that you are who you are, you're going to be abundant. With the Queen of Pentacles here. What is cloudy judgment, Spirit? What is cloudy judgment? The Moon. Okay, so with the Moon here, Spirit is telling you that when your judgment gets cloudy or when things start to seem unclear and you don't really know which way to go, Spirit wants you to tap into your feminine energy. That's another divine feminine. I forgot this came out. Remember this came out? We were talking about the divine feminine energy, and I used the moon as an example. The moon is an example of divine feminine energy. But when the moon comes out, it's talking more about, when the moon comes out in tarot, it's talking more about intuition. This is about using your intuition. So when your judgment gets cloudy or you start getting confused, you don't really know which way you should go, Spirit is encouraging you to use your intuition. And that's easier said than done. But if you ask, then you will receive. When I tell you, your spirit guides, your ancestors, they are all over this reading. I feel so much encouragement. I literally do have chills. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel so much encouragement coming off of these cards. I feel so much reinforcement coming off of these cards. I feel so much like have you ever been to like a pep rally in high school, and you know how when the football team comes out and the cheerleaders come out and everybody is in the bleachers and they're screaming and just cheering them on? That's what I feel. I feel like homecoming. That's how I feel. I feel homecoming energy here. Like a well of emotion that just keeps rising up, rising up. What's karma, Spirit? Why is karma here? The Five of Cups. So the same message is coming out for karma. And then the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. Oh, there was one hiding behind. And then the Five of Pentacles. That is crazy. I can't make this up. Look at these cards that just popped out. Look at this. First you got the Five of Pentacles reversed. Then you got the Ace of Pentacles reversed. And then you got the Five of Cups upright. So this karma energy is about you feeling like you've made so many mistakes that you don't deserve a new chance. I know that you guys don't really believe, you don't say that out loud. You encourage yourself every day. That's the kind of energy I'm getting off of these cards, that you try to encourage yourself every day. But Spirit is trying to tell you that there's some kind of doubt lingering in the back. That you don't fully believe that you deserve a new chance. You try to believe, but you don't fully believe. What's their advice, Spirit? What is the collective's advice? Queen of Cups. Back to that healing energy. The Queen of Cups is a card of nurturing, love. She's a lover. The Queen of Cups. The Cups is a suit about love. The Queen is the highest you can get outside of the King. She's the feminine. She's the highest feminine card you can get in the suit of Cups as far as court cards go. And the feminine is about nurturing. Not just nurturing other people, but knowing when to turn that energy inward and healing the self. Healing, self-love, self-care. So the same message keeps coming up about healing and loving on yourself over and over and over again, because there's so much abundance. The Most High needs your vessel. They need you. But you've got to heal first. The Spirit has so many plans for you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't work towards your goals now. You get busy now. But keep in mind that your healing is just as important as those goals. Make your healing a priority just as much as your goals are. More advice, Spirit. The Six of Cups. Okay. So now the Six of Cups is about connecting to your youthful side. And it's so crazy because I was getting ready to talk about shadow work and I stopped myself. And I should have just listened to Spirit and said what I was going to say. And tell you guys, like, a lot of you all, you need to do your shadow work. And with the Six of Cups coming up, the Six of Cups is a card about connecting with the younger you, your younger self, the you that received all of this trauma. It doesn't have to be childhood trauma. Maybe some of you all don't have childhood trauma, but maybe the first time you tried to accomplish a big goal in your 20s or something, things didn't go the way that you planned. Or the very first time that you decided to pursue your art, you were shut down and made to feel unimportant or unheard or unseen. You know, and so then you never gave yourself an opportunity to express yourself in that way. But there's some kind of connection to your past. No matter how far back in the past, there's a connection that you need to make, a bridge. You need to bridge the gap between the you that is right here, right now, and the you that received some kind of trauma, some kind of hurt, that has convinced you all the way up to this point that your dreams aren't important. That goal isn't that big of a priority. It's not as much of a priority as paying these bills. Because that's what ends up happening to a lot of people. You wouldn't be the first person that went through something traumatic and then focused on what was in the present moment. And I know in the spiritual community, we talk a lot about being present and being in the present moment. But sometimes, what is the present moment worth if I'm spending it living or allowing a moment from the past to dictate my present moment? Do you know what I'm trying to say? How can we live in the present moment? How can we be present in the present moment when there is a pain, a wound from years ago that's never been healed, and we're constantly aching from that wound? How much can we really enjoy this present moment if we have an open sore spiritually? from 5 years ago, from 10 years ago, from 20 years ago, from 30 years ago. Like I said, not everybody is like my collective. There are some people who get hurt spiritually and never clean the wound, never make preparation to heal. They just limp through life. I'm speaking spiritually. Like, let's say your spiritual body was an actual body and somebody just came and broke your leg, your spiritual leg. And instead of taking the time out to heal, you just limp your way through the next 30, 40 years. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do. A lot of people take some of these wounds to the grave and into the afterlife. My collective is not that collective. Spirit has a bigger purpose for you, and healing is that purpose. Because you can't show up and show out if you limping around on a broken spiritual leg, if you get what I'm trying to say. I hope my analogy made sense. Spirit, what's the ultimate message that you have for my collective? The Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, to just keep busy. The Eight of Pentacles is about being hard at work and not losing focus. I wish I had a self-care card. Here they are. Okay. I got my self-care cards. I'm going to pull you guys some self-care cards before we close this reading out. Connect with fire. So for some of you guys, you might, partake in, recreational activities that require you to flame something up, if you catch my drift. Others of you might have a burn bowl. Some of you guys, you might be ritualistic, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. So if you are one of those types that likes to use a burn bowl, it's time to sit down and really start thinking about what you want to release. Writing it on paper, putting it in that burn bowl, and sending that smoke up to the heavens. And asking your spirit team to help you release it, like the smoke releases into the air. Then you've got use your hands. So for some of you all like to create things with your hands. Or you could be someone who likes to clean. That helps you meditate and think about, get really deep into your own psyche. When you clean, it helps you go to another place. For others of you, you create with your hands. And Spirit is saying that they need you to get busy, because that's how you tap in. Everybody taps in a different way. For me, I tap in when I am in nature. Like, I go on nature walks. That helps me tap in. I sing, I dance, I do yoga, I meditate. I tap in when I do those things. They bring me peace and they bring me closer to Spirit. And then Spirit is able to send me downloads that way. For some of my collective, using your hands is how you tap in. When you create things with your hands, or when you clean up your house with your hands, you tap in and Spirit talks to you. The Most High is with you, sending you downloads and helping you navigate through all of this chaos. And then positive affirmations. Spirit, what I'm getting off of this card, the message I'm getting off of this card is that there's a negative voice in your head for some of you. Not all of you, but some of you. And you need to shut him down. But before you shut him down, hear him out. Find out whose voice that really is. Is that your dad? Did he used to express dissatisfaction about you on a regular basis? And now anytime you feel like you make a mistake, that voice starts talking to you? Is that your mom? Is that some teacher you had that was really hard on you? And then she'd call home or he'd call home and only listen to her side of the story, not yours. You need to shut that voice down. Shut it down. Find out where it came from. Find out why it's talking to you like that. When it got programmed. Who programmed it? And then shut it down. And then replace it. Because you deserve to have somebody cheering you on instead of beating you down every day. When you make a mistake, you deserve for somebody to say, that wasn't a mistake. That was all a part. All things work together for those who work for the good. You don't deserve to have somebody saying, you miserable piece of, you know what I'm saying? You don't deserve to have somebody saying that to you. Oh, you suck. Anytime you make a mistake, you got a voice saying you suck instead of saying, it's okay. You might not be able to see it right now, but this is a part of the bigger plan. Maybe I made this mistake so that I can slow down and I can see, I can be more present in this moment. Hey, I made that mistake while I was rushing trying to get to this other thing, this one thing. And now because I made this mistake, I'm forced to slow down and be present in this present moment. And then Burning Bowl Ritual came out. And it's crazy because when we got Connect with Fire, I brought up the Burning Bowl. So I would have to assume that that is the spirit is saying, yeah, I'm just going to keep saying the same things over and over again. That was the message. So I hope this message helped my collective. Like I said, this message probably won't be for everybody. Not everybody will resonate with this message because this was a pretty unique message. This is for a group of people in the collective who have a strong calling on their life and they can feel it. And they're ready to be proactive about it. They just need a little bit of guidance. So I hope that this reading helped you in your journey. And I'll try to do more readings like this and connect with you all. And I hope you all have a good night, day, wherever you are in the world. I will see you guys next time.